Hello and welcome to my channel. It's Wanders Elsewhere. Today we are playing Valheim, discussing resources from the very beginning of the game through the Bronze Age. Talk about unlocks and crafting recipes and some tips and tricks in there too. Let's get into it. We are going to start this discussion from your very first resource pickups and recipe unlocks. This episode is going to focus on resources for building and making gear and weapons. I'll cover food, potions, or mead, and the cauldron in another episode. The game is going to start us out in the meadows, and that's where we'll get a lot of our starting resources. You can pick up stones off the ground, as well as branches for wood. You can also start punching the small trees to get wood and resin. Build yourself an axe, make the rest of your wood collecting a little easier so you can get your hammer together. And then after that, you're building your workbench, and this is where we get a lot of our unlocks and do most of our crafting. The workbench is really your crafting and base building hub point. We'll unlock additional tools similar to it as we progress through the game. If you find this guide helpful, please consider throwing a like and subscribe my way. You can really help me grow the channel that way, and every bit counts. As we can see there, building the workbench really unlocks a lot of construction options for us. Take your time with them, get your base build on, and just enjoy the game. After you've done that for a while and you're ready to upgrade your workbench, Flint is one of the first things on your list. You find that in the meadows, near the coastline. There's different watery areas that can be a little swamp-esque, but definitely not swamp yet. Sometimes you have to swim out for the flint like I just did, and other times you can just find it piled up on the coast. After you've got your flint, you're going to be looking for hide. If you haven't killed a bunch of boars and got yourself a bow yet, stealth is going to be your approach. Here's an example. For us, the deer are going to drop deer hide, deer trophies, as well as raw meat. Next quarry up on our list is going to be boar. You can find deer and boar throughout the meadows and the Black Forest. The boar leather scraps are a gateway to quite a few recipes. Your starting armor, starting weaponry, flint, your crude bow, things like that. I'd consider all those resources to be your tier 1 resources, and with that, you should be able to build yourself a decent set to take on the first boss. That is going to be your gateway to the next set of resources. The antler allows you to build a pickaxe, go after your deposits. This is what a copper deposit looks like. Copper deposits live in the Black Forest. You can usually find Black Forest adjacent to meadows. You probably have it near you in your starting area. Pro tip on copper: the deposits go significantly deeper than surface level. You just have to dig them out. Do not clear the surface and move on. There's a lot more copper waiting for you. Next up is tin. Tin spawns on the coastline of the Black Forest. That black line across the stone is your telltale sign that you've got tin. Tin is just these little nodes here. It does not extend down any further. We found our ore, but we can't start smelting just yet. We need to gather some ingredients to build a forge. You're looking for dungeons. Burial chambers are most common. You'll find them in the Black Forest as well. There's a couple different entrance types for the burial chambers, but inside you're always going to encounter skeletons. The difficulty inside these dungeons can vary wildly. I've had some that I could walk through, collect tons of cores no problem. Then I've had others that were just living nightmares. While trying to collect this footage, it was pretty rough. So I wish you luck in your Surtling core collection. This dungeon entrance here was almost completely hidden by trees. But outside, if you see activity like loot on the ground or particularly bone fragments, there's probably a burial chamber nearby. I did not bring a light source with me through these chambers because I was just looking for cores, but these chambers are also a really good source of gold and other valuables. There is a merchant in the game that sells a belt that increases your carry capacity by 150. And as you've just started mining, you probably know how valuable that is. So if you have the inventory space, take a look around for amber pearls, things like that, and you can make yourself a good chunk of change. Cores collected, it's time to build the forge and the smelter, or the smelter and the furnace rather. Forge is up next. If you only have enough cores to build one of the two, I'd probably consider building the furnace first, because you need charcoal to run the smelter. Now that we have both those built, gather our ore, we'll load it into the smelter here. One side takes your ore, the other side is for coal. Feed it in right there, then you just wait for it to cook. Once you get your first copper bars, you'll be able to build the forge. And once you get some tin, you'll unlock the ability to make bronze. Bronze is what most of the recipes at the forge are locked behind. I highly suggest once you make your first bar of whatever your new metal is as you progress through the game, make the nails. The nails are also a gateway to recipes. We're gonna do that right now, after we browse a little bit. I'm a big fan of that two-handed weapon. These nails are gonna unlock the cart for us. Early game, that cart can really help you get resources back to the base. It has a very large storage capacity and no weight limit, but you do have to drag it, so careful where you take it. We are now in the Black Forest again to gather some pine. Pine is where you get core wood. Core wood and bronze are a gateway to your new tools. After that, you'll be able to build the bronze axe and the bronze pickaxe. I'm out here collecting this pine in the middle of the night. I would advise against harvesting resources at night until you get a little confident. Monsters will hear the noise and they will aggro, and it'll be a lot of them. There you can see all our core wood unlocks. Most importantly, this bronze axe allows us to chop down a new tier of trees to get fine wood. Those birch trees that were hanging out that you couldn't chop through, well, now you can. At this stage of the game, you're going to be finding your fine wood resources in the meadows. You have birch trees as well as oak trees. Oak trees are these big suckers. You can see them in the distance back there. They usually are on the edge of clearings, things like that. See that big old oak tree for your reference there? Those have a larger quantity of fine wood than the birch trees, but they're more few and far between. And with that, that pretty much covers all the resource unlocks for gear and building construction through what I like to call the Bronze Age. After you've defeated the second boss, your gateway to even more resources will be unlocked, and we'll discuss that in another episode, as well as the cauldron and food and meat unlocks, all that good stuff. If you've enjoyed this content, once again, please like and subscribe. Every bit helps me grow this channel. Before we completely wrap this up, I'd like to throw a few tips your way. Copper armor is great for damage mitigation, but it is the first armor set that starts to slow you down. You get a 5% movement speed decrease for the top and the pants. Troll hide is another armor set you unlock at this tier once you've killed your first troll. Provides a decent armor value, a stealth bonus, and doesn't slow you down. So you're starting to get some gameplay options on how you want to build your character. It's a glorious shot of the bronze armor in the rain. And we'll cut to some troll armor. The troll unlocks you get with your troll hide. If you haven't seen a troll yet, you're going to have a good time. With fine wood and circling cores, you have also unlocked the ability to build portals. Portals are fast travel networks that you can build yourself. However, you cannot transport ore or bars through these portals, so you'll still be needing boats if you want to haul those resources around. You want to talk portal placement strategy or anything else Valheim, you can find me streaming on Twitch Monday and Wednesday evenings. Handle over there is also Wanders Elsewhere. If you'd like to see a sailing guide, click the link on the screen now. Also, there's the sub button. Still haven't hit it? Love it if you did. I'll catch y'all on the next one.